Hello, and welcome to the Get the Trolls Out podcast series. Today, we join you as part of our Interfaith dialogue campaign, Shared Voices. My name is Hannah, project manager of Get the Trolls Out, and today I'm joined by my colleague Greenie, social media campaigner. In each of our episodes, we invite inspiring individuals to share their work in combating discrimination and hate. Join us as we explore the initiatives that address religious hate speech and media biases, and learn how you can get involved in creating a more inclusive world. Get the Trolls Out aims to counter discrimination and intolerance on religious grounds across the European media landscape. Led by the Media Diversity Institute and in collaboration with 6 partner organisations, we harness the power of social media to promote dialogue and counter narratives of hate. Today we are joined by special guest Tamas from the Centre for Independent Journalism in Hungary. CIJ is one of the 6 partner organisations within the Get the Trolls Out project. So today we have with us Tamás from the Centre of Independent Journalism in Hungary, a partner of the Get the Trolls Out project. Thank you for being here today, Tamás.
Nice having you here.
Can I ask you to tell me a little bit more about CIJ and the work you do, including also your role and expertise within the project?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, Galia. Thanks for the question. So I also greet our precious audience. So the CIJ's mission is to promote ethical journalism in Hungary, to support the free flow of information and to inform the public. Our role in the domestic national media space is supporting and organizing public interest programs that are otherwise not available to quality journalism professionals. We work with funded projects, mainly those that are not advertised by the Hungarian public bodies. It's also included GTTO. We have a flowing project about media literacy, supporting different kind of journalists, organizing trainings and all. Our priorities are to ensure adequate presentation of national and ethnic minorities in the media and reinforcing and implying professional and ethical principles condemning hate speech, religious discrimination and deliberate misinformation and adhering to them. In addition, to promote media literacy and understanding of social media sources for both journalists and the general public. Personally, I support the GTTO project with almost 10 years of experience, having worked as a university lecturer at the Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest and content developer for smaller and community radios and different kind of public bodies, and as a project manager and editor-in-chief. The latter was spent managing mostly community radio station and developing and producing podcast content.
Thank you so much, Tamas. So I know that CIJ, as you mentioned, has extensive experience in creating podcasts and collaborating with community radios. So could you tell us a little more about this and also your focus within the Get the Trolls Out project and podcasts?
Yeah, of course. We gathered so many experiences about this project and we are very grateful about that. So during the lifetime of the CIJ, we have provided resources and expertise to support the production of a number of podcasts. They have also helped Hungarian journalists address issues to importance to social acceptance, media freedom, and independent journalism. I don't know how much you know about the Hungarian media landscape. I think the situation is not the worst, but we are not in a good state of it. So this kind of support, we deeply believe that and promoting content and supporting content creation is very crucial. In Hungary, by the way, the religious freedom and the visibility of religious issues is less widespread, with many stereotypes, especially against smaller religious communities in the country, such as Jews, Muslims, and Easterners. It's usually based, in my opinion, some historical background, but we won't get into that. On the scale and in the face of the larger religions also operate mostly in bubbles. in terms of communication and visibility. For these reasons, we see the GTTO project is a very important and excellent opportunity to a little bit destroying this kind of boundaries and improving and supporting the conversation between the different kind of religious persons and the organization, and of course between the society and the people. Right now, we are currently supporting podcast episodes under the umbrella of the GTTO project. So we are supporting several small and large media to both give visibility to the public and to reach more specific target groups. We cooperate with the National Organization of Hungarian Journalists. It's one of the, as I know, it's the oldest association in Hungary. It's created by the journalists, with the Apple Radio, which is a small community radio in the heart of Budapest. I'm the editor-in-chief there, just to be clear. So the synergies are important from both of the organizational sides. And we are cooperating with the science communication podcast. It's called Glossa, and the Lametune, like the Turkish pizza, underground radio. And we are also in discussions with a large regional and national media outlet, how to improve, what kind of podcast we can create. So I hope that we will hear more information about these cooperations in the future.
Thank you so much, Tamas. I will now hand over to Rini, my colleague, to ask the next two questions.
Thanks, Hannah. So I just want to know a little bit about your recent podcast. It looked at the intersection of theology and world affairs, I believe. Could you tell us a little bit more about this podcast?
Of course, gladly. So in that episode, we recorded a conversation, an open conversation, roundtable discussion with Attila Komlós. He's a Reformed pastor, a theologian, and a journalist. Spoke about the dimensions of religions in the world of politics. The following major topics were discussed. Can theological categories be used to interpret world politics? How do world religions and world churches interact, and what conflicts do national or alliance efforts generate? How to be pleasing to God? I think that's a special question, and of course a very logical one in this conversation. But we cannot forget that. So how to be pleasing to God in the midst of today's social, economic, and military challenges, taking into account the higher command and individual freedom. And this event also provided an excellent opportunity for journalists to clarify religious and other kind of religion-based and journalism-based terminology, and to help them to communicate them with correctly. I think the using of the words, the terminologies is also very important, also in the hate speech and different kind of religious discussions.
Thank you, Tamas. That was really interesting to hear the intersection of what you do and the work you do along with the religions that you're representing. Can you tell us a little bit about the importance of interfaith dialogue and what initiatives maybe CIJ is taking and what benefits they can have in the world today?
Yes. I think there is a great reason and a great sense in having a dialogue about religion, is that we live in the same society in Europe and in the kind of westernized world. The Enlightenment and the democracy have enabled us to talk about these issues in a sober and empathic way, respecting each other's values and point of views, respecting each other's human nature. A great advantage of the GTTO project is the monitoring work in one hand. So that's not only our partners, but also international and Hungarian experts can get information about religious narratives in the media, and of course hate speech also, which will be used as a basis for professional materials and journalistic content. And I am confident that the narrative on this issue can change positively, and maybe even new journalistic and political policies can be born as a result of the activities. Let me highlight just a small example connecting to that. When we started organizing and discussing with the content creators about the podcast content creators, we highlighted some monitoring information. Just to check this information, how the narratives are flowing in the Hungarian media, how these things are working, just to get inspiration, and a little bit shaping the podcast to debunking this kind of misinformation and hate speech, and supporting the communication between the audience and the creators, and of course this kind of supporting this kind of interfaith dialogue. And in addition, of course, it is a paramount importance to strengthen social coexistence and religious freedom and acceptance in order to build a strong and resilient international community. And I think it's my very personal opinion. It's the most important question to building bridges and strengthening our common values in this 21st century, in the face of the European politics, in the face of what is happening in the US, and of course what is happening in the eastern part of Europe.
Thank you, Tamas. That was really interesting. And I think at GTTO, we also feel that respecting different points of view, be it religion or your politics, is so important to have, because the world we live in today is so complicated and we deal with very complex issues. So thank you so much for giving us a bit of insights into Hungarian media and also the work you do with podcasts and Interfaith. I'm sure our listeners will enjoy this podcast, and please check out all the impactful work that CIJ does, and you can keep updated on all our activities on our website and our social media. I thank you, Tamas, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here, and thank you for your attention, and let's go forward.
Thank you.